Roadhouse is directed by Doug Liman and stars Jake Gyllenhaal, Danielle Melchior, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, ma'am, and Conor McGregor. Ex-UFC fighter Dalton takes a job at a bouncer at a Florida Keys roadhouse, only to discover that this paradise is not all it seems. I have no nostalgia for the original Roadhouse. I actually never even seen the film still. Like, I'm going into this film completely blind, not knowing any of the lines, not knowing any of the characters. This is just one of those remakes that is just like a new movie to me. Maybe at some point I'll check it out. I heard it's like a fun 80s action film and it's like pretty cheesy and everything. So with that in context now, what do I think of this movie as a movie that stands on its own? Well, let's just get into it. I think Jake Gyllenhaal did a really good job as Dalton. Not one of his best performances. You can tell that he's just being Jake Gyllenhaal for the most part here. And he is good. He's good in the action bits. His character is fine enough. And he's like a more laid back type of character. And in many scenes of the film, it works very well, but at some points of the film, it just makes him feel too boring because sometimes his dialogue, whenever it's not good, just feels so lifeless when he's just laid back, and it just feels like he is uninterested. And I could tell that he's just trying to do what the character is written to do, but it just comes across as him being bored, and the character itself just feels boring at times. Same with the love interest. She just feels like a love interest. Danielle Melchior is a great actress, but I felt like she is not given all that much to do here that she could have done in any other film. Anyone could have played this role, and it really did show here. This was an unremarkable character that I felt like was there to just give Dalton a love interest, and that's it. And she gets kidnapped and becomes a damsel in distress, and you have to go save her, and it's this whole thing. And it was just like, I could tell where the movie's gonna go, who the bad guys are. They're all predictable, but in many ways I kind of like that because I felt like the movie knew what it wanted to be at times, because some of the fight sequences here are really fun, and you could tell that this movie just wanted to be a laid back, cool action throwback to the 80s type of film, and it succeeds at that point. Some of the fight sequences, while admittedly looking too edited at times, still are really fun. Conor McGregor is a really fun antagonist, though a little bit too over the top because the tone of the film is a little bit more serious, where Conor McGregor is just this naked, beefy guy who just pumps up his chest and has his arms out like this, just walks around and is saying weird stuff in an Australian accent. Like, he felt like he was in a completely different film, and he was just one of the show stealers here, but he was never consistent in terms of the tone of the story, not until like the very end when he gets a lot more brutal, a lot more serious. But whenever he's not fighting or beating up Jake Gyllenhaal, he just feels so out of place. It's ridiculous, and I couldn't buy into the story really all that much because of how inconsistent the tone really is. It's like the movie didn't know if it wanted to be a serious character driven story or just a fun little throwback, turn your brain off kind of film, you know, because there's a lot of graphic violence, a lot of language, and Jake Gyllenhaal is fun in the role, but the tone is darker. A lot of the shots and cinematography are pretty grim and dark. It didn't feel as vibrant or fun. I didn't feel like I wanted to go to this roadhouse. Like, I didn't understand why people would go here. It doesn't look all that appealing, and that's due to the cinematography here and overall look and tone of the film. It just made this whole place just feel not that fun to go to. Like, I've been to the Keys. They are a lot more colorful and beautiful looking than what this movie presented. And I feel like the movie just should have leaned into a more fun tone, have brighter colors, and feel a lot more over the top. That way, Conor McGregor's character would have fit perfectly in this film, in this over the top nature, and Jake Gyllenhaal can be that one little outcast that's trying to fit into everything. It maybe gets a little bit more cheesy as the film goes on, as the character progresses, because as of this movie now being the way it is, it's a mixed bag. Like, I had fun at times, but there are many points in the film where I felt like I was bored and I felt like the movie could have just had a little bit more fun implemented into it. Overall, this was it was a movie that exists. I know some people, from what I saw, people reviewing it, hate it, like they didn't like it at all. But as someone who did not grow up with the original Roadhouse and just looked at this film as a film, it exists. I didn't get offended by it. I didn't care much about it. Yeah, it's just a movie that exists. That's all I can say. Maybe that will change if I watch the original. As of now, not that big of a deal for me. But I don't see myself watching this again. I'm going to give Roadhouse a C. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys next time.